Hey everyone, my name is Wedge and welcome back to another Command Zone. Let's be real, black is definitely a strong color in Commander. With access to some of the best draw and tutor spells in the format, as well as some strong creatures, black is strong both on its own and as a support color. Soren Markov is one of the few cards that didn't accomplish much at Constructed but became one of the strongest cards in Commander immediately. 6 mana to effectively take a player out of the game is absurd, and you have 2 other decent abilities to back it up. You likely won't Mindslaver someone with Soren since you'll be too focused on putting as many opponents as possible to 10 life. The only real drawback is that it costs 6 mana, but with all the acceleration in the format, it's easy enough to hit it on turn 3 or 4 reliably. If you're heavy in black, you play this card. Kokosho the Evening Star was recently unbanned after years of being deemed too powerful for the format. You can't play it as a commander as of today, which still alludes to the power of the card. Similar to Yosei, Kokosho is consistently a threat, attacking for 5 until it dies, creating a 30-point life swing in a 4-player game. With Graveyard Recursion and combos with Nim Deathmantle, Kokosho can end the game quickly unless exiled. This card is ideal for graveyard-based decks or generals such as Vela the Nightclad. Most black decks will run this card. Sadistic Hypnotist is as much of a strong card as it is a solid utility creature in certain archetypes. First of all, it's a sacrifice effect, which is valuable in graveyard-based decks. With generals like Savra, Queen of the Golgari, or Kresh the Bloodbraided, sac effects enable a lot of interactions and combos. Also, it has a solid ability in making an opponent discard 2 cards. In a head-to-head game, it's very easy to drop one and discard an opponent's hand with 2 or 3 activations. The only downside is that the ability is sorcery speed, but that doesn't stop the card from seeing solid play. Black's biggest strength is its access to tutors, most notably Demonic and Vampiric Tutor. For those with a higher budget, Imperial Seal and Grim Tutor are available. For cheaper alternatives, Beseech the Queen and Diabolic Tutor do nicely. Black has the strongest card selection of any color, and likely you'll be running some combination of these 6 cards in your deck, as tutor effects are imperative in format with 99 card main deck. As for which ones you decide to play, that's up to you. That said, Demonic and Vampiric Tutor or Imperial Seal will likely be your best options, as they are the cheapest and least restrictive of black tutors. Similar to white, black also has access to a handful of mass removal spells. Damnation leads the pack here. The color's biggest weakness is its inability to deal with creatures in large numbers, but cards like Black Sun Zenith, Mutilate, and Life's Finale all can reliably clear the board. Almost all black decks will run Damnation, and any additional mass removal effects will be dependent on the type of deck, as they are definitely available from other colors. Decree of Payne deserves its own mention amongst the sweepers in black for its overall power and versatility. At worst, it's an uncounterable infest that draws you a card, which can be surprisingly effective against the aggro decks and 2 toughness utility creatures in the format. Resolving Decree as a spell can be devastating, netting you anywhere from 5 to 10 or more cards while clearing the board. Naturally, the card's only weakness is its cost, but the upside is too good to not play this card alongside Damnation in your mass removal package. The advent of hexproof generals such as Earl the Mistwalker, as well as various Voltron generals, have increased the value of sacrifice spells such as Innocent Blood, Barterin Blood, and Bag Marauder. Targeted removal is significantly weaker in Commander unless it's attached to a creature like Shriekmaw or has an additional effect. With the sweepers in black costing no less than 4, sacrifice effects help stave off other players' fast starts in order to set up mid to late game sweepers. Bag Marauder has the additional bonus of interaction with recursion effects for multiple uses. These cards aren't imperative to play, but provide an out when dealing with aggressive starts or hard-to-kill creatures. Necropotence has been banned in multiple formats simply for its power, and while it isn't as broken in Commander, is still a very strong black spell. Having 40 life allows you to dig pretty deep even in a 99 card deck, and it does have a stupid combo with Venser's Journal. Skipping your draw step isn't much of an issue as you can dig your way out of most troubles, but the exile replacement may be a problem if you're trying to interact with your graveyard. If you are in heavy black and that discard replacement isn't too much of a killer, Necro is definitely a good idea. Phyrexian Arena is not nearly as strong as Necro, but is still a very powerful enchantment in Commander. Even with the printing of Erebos God of the Dead, there are still very few ways to draw cards continuously in black. Arena virtually has no drawback at 40 life and allows you to draw 2 cards a turn. This is a card I want to tutor for to play on turn 3, as it gets you to your late game faster. Runescar Demon is one of the strongest black creatures recently printed for Commander and also gives the color another tutor effect. The 6/6 flying is enough to take out a player, but the demonic tutor attached to it's invaluable. You're basically tying a 6/6 to whatever card you're trying to get. With all the clones in the format, it's very easy to chain multiple Runescar Demons in 1 or 2 turns. If you're playing black, you will be playing this. Geth, Lord of the Vault, is solid as a commander or creature in your main deck. If left alone, it can take over a game by itself. It's very easy to get to large amounts of mana in the format, and Geth is the perfect place to sink that into, stealing relevant creatures and artifacts to put you ahead further. It also mills the opponent with each activation, sustaining itself in the process, and as a 5/5 with Intimidate will get in for the damage too. Perfect for control since it will immediately pay dividends with open mana. Massacre Worm is another huge creature that can act as a sweeper against aggro decks and also deal some damage in the process. More often than not, you will take out a couple creatures with the Massacre effect and even get in a couple attacks for 6 damage as well. It's another card that pairs well with Graveyard Recursions or even Rite of Replication to blow your opponents out. The only criticism for this card is that it costs 6, but there's more than enough acceleration in the format to get it out in time. Another must-play for heavy black decks that are looking for another pseudo-sweeper. Victimize can be the premier reanimation spell in the right deck. Sacrificing cards like Anger, Solemn Simulacrum, or Yavimaya Elder to pull your 2 best creatures out of the graveyard can be enough to win the game on the spot, or get you close to it. There are plenty of pairs of creatures that when put together will win immediately, like Triskelion and Mikaeus the Unhallowed, or Kiki Jiki Mirror Breaker and Deceiver Exarch. Reanimator spells are generally unplayable in Commander, but Victimize is virtually without drawback when placed in the right deck. The reward greatly outweighs the risk of graveyard hate. Black can be a support color with the best tutors in the format, or with a heavier commitment provide you with some of the strongest spells in the format. Next time we'll take a look at what red has to offer. As always, subscribe below for the latest and most reliable Magic the Gathering information you could ever need. This is the Mana Source, I'm Wedge, thanks for watching and we'll see you next time.